MCES starting off Synthé with his Hog Riders and starting off with the Skelly Donut method. This is awesome.
This is exactly what we want to see coming in from Synthé. One of his signature moves here is combination of the invisibility spells and the Skellies to quickly take down the CC and just manages to get that taken down. And he managed to also get the scatter shot down. When he sees this close proximity, he knows he's picking up some insane value out of it.
Absolutely. And I almost feel like Vale might have put his Clan Castle and Scatter Shot together, because whilst you can get big value, it is a risky play, and if he slips up, that could be the difference maker in this war. And we did see Synthé slip up with this strategy once before, so maybe that was a little bit of what Vale was thinking, maybe not, but either way, Synthé got it done perfectly this time. We've got the heroes into the Town Hall, beautifully going to be able to sui that area and get even more value before starting with his Hog Riders. But actually, he's already got the pathing created. Here they come from the north of the base.
Yeah, this looks like an easy push for these Hog Riders to come in with. Now we do have the Royal Champion to help work through, help take down the defending AQ while they make their path straight towards the defenses. Look at this beautiful blimp coming over the scatter shot, rages it up, which is ideally to force the Hogs into the center of the base, but the majority of them work to the outskirts. He has to split this up. At very least, the position of the Royal Champion allows her to work into the multi-compartment, but he is running short on Hogs to try and get the job done here. This Royal Champ has a big task ahead of her now.
Oh, she certainly does. The Hog Riders on the right-hand side towards that multi-target Inferno just went down super fast. And although he had the Royal Champion in the middle to support, it is not enough here as he comes down to it. Unfortunately, that is the risk in running the Skelly Donut method. You don't really have a lot of don't really have a lot of Hog Riders. He had 39, more than we expect, but what I meant to say is you don't have a lot of spells to supplement the rest of your army. The Yeti Mites have amazingly taken down the multi-Inferno on the right-hand side, and that is going to allow him to get a little bit extra percentage points, which, who knows, could be all the difference in this war.
And this Electro Owl doing some great work in the core. The Wizards have gotten even further than I expected them to, and the Sneaky Goblins trying to swiftly pick up that percent. With the Wizard Tower down, there's really not a lot to worry about. Just a little bit too much for the Wizards to have to do. I know I was hoping to see more out of that Electro Owl, but we're talking about a high percentage 2-star coming in for Synthé. I guess Vala might have had a little bit of a trick up his sleeve here, trying to bait him into this and not quite getting exactly what he wanted out of it. But you cannot fault a 96% 2-star start against a team like ATN.
You cannot, and certainly with the first match of the war, there is a little bit more nerves, you could say, moving into this. So it's not a bad start, but it's also not the start that MCES would have wanted, because thinking about the hit rate that we did have alternate attacks up with, it was just short of 80%, which means if they were to follow that, it's a 14-star war. MCES certainly not out of this in terms of, you know, one attack in. They just need to hope that they can hold their defense, or at least just keep their heads held high and not be too shaken up about that.
And there was a war that ATN did have against MCES, and that was in week 1 where they did perfect them. And I think that's what ATN is trying to hope to see come through. 15 to 13-star war for ATN in that one. But MCS is also a team that was able to pull in some perfect wars. I don't think 14 stars is too far of an offshoot for them to pull in with. It just depends on what kind of defense they can try and bring to the game today. Now, Linnaid coming through with exactly what we talked about. This is his new hybrid option, and that is the Queen Charge Drag Rider. Does superb work with the Queen Charges, and it really supports nicely having these drag riders that focus solely, like very much like having a hybrid with the drag riders working through for the defenses and the minions to help with the cleanup here.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very similar in technique to the hybrid, so I feel like that's where Linnaid has just slotted into this. He's so proficient with his Queen Charge. You can see already sending in those Coco Loons, setting off the Seeking Air Mines, and he's already set the funnel, broke the Queen in. Just a real good job here, shall we say, starting things off, because the Queen will just loop back around for that Town Hall. Now, it is taking a little while here, but, well, hopefully she loops back to the Town Hall. But the thing about the Dragon Riders is, whilst they are slow themselves, they actually have so much power that often they can get through the base relatively quick, actually, Lady B.
They really can, and it's all about how you spread out your cleanup too, that they're going to have to be mindful of, but the 9 minions going to be more than enough, especially if he holds on to a couple for the back end of this once he gets the path set and ready to go. Very patient with his Queen here, notice the poison down on those super minions, helping to hold them off, hold off that power that they launch at the Queen, so she has a fighting chance, drops that rage, which is perfect, giving her the opportunity, but
she's gonna go down.
Has already used the ability, and unfortunately dies out before picking up even more value. Now with this, I'd be a little bit worried because a Queen typically can help support if there are any issues of a time fail, so we'll have to see how he plays his cards now with these Drag Riders coming through and the Royal Champion. The King actually pushing through into the Ego compartment is huge as the Royal Champ takes advantage of his tanking.
Just trying to keep the Dragon Riders moving through the center of the base. I feel with the extra wall break, he clearly wanted more value from that Queen. But the Dragon Riders are quite tanky, particularly with the multi. They're not really going to take much damage unless there is a seeking air mine, which there was. They go down relatively quick here. Grand Warden now down as well, unable to support. And we mentioned the hit rates might drop into the finals. You are certainly seeing that. And it's actually going to be a huge percentage advantage to MCES after the first attacks.
Yeah, he'll be around the 70% mark with 25 seconds left to go. He does have these Drag Riders just knocking down, but the minions are really supporting with some of this cleanup here just to squeak it by a little bit higher, but we're not going to really see it going too much higher than, I would say, 76% here once these storages go down. This is a bit unfortunate for Linade and for ATN. That's where that 96% 2-star is definitely looking pretty good for MCES at this point.
I mean, 20 percentage points is pretty massive, really, when you think about it in terms of a war in specific, but it's certainly not won by any stretch of the imagination. 4 attacks to go, we're literally just 1 in, so still anybody's game. But definitely a shaky start from both teams. And maybe, like we said, being able to just have that extra time to build the bases specific for the team is something that will play in the hands of any team for this one. And we see Remio starting off with a Lava Hound, obviously wanting his Battle Blimp relatively deep into the base here. Looks like he's going to pop it next to the Queen yet, so he can turn the Super Wizards invisible. It's actually got goblins in there as well, which is interesting, probably just to try and set off any traps to protect the Super Wizards.
Yeah, so nice inside that base, getting the full value of taking out this entire compartment, gets the lure of the clan castle troops. So this not only clears the path, opens up some pathing for these Drag Riders, but gets a CC lure out so the heroes can take it on in an outside area where they are unobstructed by defenses. This gives you even more value out of your King, out of your Queen to work through and clear out the base. And we can see the pathing already starting, heading towards this town hall, and narrows out what the Drag Riders need to do, also picking up some massive impact of damage.
Interesting that the wall breaker went off to the side there. I'm not sure whether Remio thought it was going to do that, but he doesn't have any access into the base here for the heroes. He's going to have to hope that they break in order to get in towards that town hall. Now, the Queen has already used the ability, decides not to freeze that single target Inferno. Maybe he is actually just saving the Royal Champion for the Town Hall. It's interesting here. He's certainly thinning out the entire area, but I thought he was going to try and dive his heroes in to snipe off that Town Hall. Dragon Riders at 6 o'clock. He's going all out here, and the single target up by the Town Hall is certainly, it's got me on edge a little bit, shall we say.
Yeah, a little bit of recovery coming in. These headhunters will have to take down the Royal Champion, the defending Royal Champion, to ensure that the Drag Riders have full path. The Royal Champ comes in to go for the Town Hall, freezes that up along with the bow to keep this going. Even rages up the Royal Champion, but she is not targeting on Town Hall. She has her ability, but only half health left. She will regenerate once this goes, but burning through all his spells to keep this alive, get the 2-star at very least, and try and pull in this 3-star. Look at the spread, though, of these drag riders. They're making their way through the core to the outside of the base. The King still going strong with the cleanup. I mean, I would say he could almost have enough for the cleanup to get the job done here, but that single looking mighty nasty. That still stands.
It certainly is. Now, that one Dragon Rider taking out the multi in the center is pretty huge, actually. It's going to set off a bunch of traps as well. Maybe time will actually be the issue here for him, because there are a lot of buildings left over. Now, the Dragon Riders will indeed move across to that single target Inferno. He's cleaning up pretty quickly here, Lady B. Oh, the Seeking Air Mine is going to get his Dragon Rider. It is all about the Clan Castle. Can he get it down in time? 5 seconds. 99%. Is it going to be? There we go. On the buzzer for Remio. Wow. I cannot believe how close that one was.
That was insane recovery on that. Yeah, that Queen and King definitely meant to go into the Town Hall compartment, but like a true pro that he is, Remio adapting on the fly, saving that Royal Champion. And I mean, you can't even account for the fact that the Royal Champion is going to continue to get distracted over and over, but he played his cards right, dropping all of those spells, using them through to not only secure the 2-star, but relying on the rest of the power from those Dragon Riders to get it done. But that shows how powerful this troop really is.
Yeah, one thing we didn't mention as well, which I feel was a really smart play, was he held on to one Dragon Rider as a little bit of a failsafe for the Town Hall, but then he was actually able to snipe the air defense to the right-hand side due to committing the spells and helping the RC get it. So it really did help him to pull in the 3-star. But now we have Boom, and Atn.Attax a little bit behind. Interestingly, uses the invisibility to the left-hand side. That had to have been a misclick, Lady B.
I'm wondering if he was trying to direct the blimp across to make sure that it landed exactly where he wanted it to go. That was my assumption in seeing this, to ensure the perfect pathing for the Stone Slammer here. Gets exactly what he needs out of it. The Clan Castle is down. We've got full spread around, and the Town Hall is down. So this worked out very well. He even has an additional invisibility spell left over that he can use to get even more value out of his heroes.
Yeah, was it a defense at the bottom, was it? It looks like it might have actually been... Yeah, I'm looking at the bomb location. So yeah, that's a really good play, because otherwise with the blimp, he couldn't have targeted that area. So massive props to Boom on that one. We always talk about MCES being creative, but Atn.Attax, that's why they're the world champions as well. Sniping off that area, creating pathing for his heroes. And this is what I was talking about with the Blizzard into Dragon Riders, because it almost just helps to set up the pathing for the Dragon Riders so well by using the Blizzard, then the heroes. You don't even have to think about the funnel very much. Look at that one wall breaker across the right-hand side, just trying to help the King through that area as well. And he's actually getting a good amount of value, but it's tricky to see the Dragon Rider pathing here, because so far he needs the Royal Champion to clean that left-hand side.
Yeah, this Royal Champ doing great work, but the Queen still has her ability left over, and no defense is targeting her right now, which is allowing the Unicorn to heal her up almost to full health. So she can help with at least one of those multis in the core, which is going to keep the pathing moving great for this. I mean, we're talking about pretty straight line pathing to get across, and the Queen, once into the center compartment, can pick up even more defenses along the way. So the pathing looks a little bit wonky, but you can see it moving through nicely with the assist of the Queen.
Yeah, the heroes have actually just straightened everything up perfectly for the Dragon Riders to keep on that right-hand side. With the Queen ability, pretty much all of his Dragon Riders left. There is so many left over for one or two defenses. Boom has made sure that this one is not coming down to the wire. He is not leaving anything to chance. Even look at the minions now spread around the base. What a beautiful attack, dissecting the base perfectly. And we knew the matches would be tight. It is still all tied up, but MCES will still have that advantage on defense. Boom with a brilliant 3-star.
Absolutely stunning coming here. Look at what we've got left over. All that cleanup from the minions. Tons of drag riders still left over from this one. And the Queen still on the board. No healers to bring in with her. And she's pretty much full health at the end. And that was great navigation coming in from Boom. And I want to point out the use of the invisibility spell, because we are seeing a lot of players starting to use that more strategically for their openers, or even once they're inside the base to re-navigate some pathing. And those are kind of like the pro moves that you expect to see at this level that I think we really need to showcase, you know, that players need to understand when they're watching these wars, how important it is to create your pathing. Now we can take a look at the standings as well, and that 20% difference is going to continue to haunt ATN, unfortunately, despite that beautiful hit. But MCES is sitting pretty happy right now, knowing that they have this huge lead percentage-wise over ATN from the start. That's going to be a big motivating factor.
It certainly does. They just need to keep their heads held high and keep their cool, though, because we can talk about this, and I always mention, you know, the war is in their hands. They just need to triple out, but tripling against ATN non-stop, it's a bigger task than is anticipated. Now, Kingsman is actually taking 8 Dragon Riders in this one. That is virtually his entire army. And again, we see the Blizzard starting off nicely, getting the Town Hall, and the heroes will either come to the top area, but I would suspect into the Eagle compartment would be his method of choice here. And then the Dragon Riders can actually just swoop directly through. Only one Headhunter, though, is pretty interesting.
And it's unfortunate he didn't get that single down. He did invest the Quake in it to try and help pick that up on the back end of the Town Hall, but they didn't quite make the connection there. Does get the Clan Castle lure, but let's see what that's going to mean for the heroes coming in and also having that Stray single targeting Inferno still standing. Queen moving forward nicely as the King provides excellent tank for her. We do get the wall break open into the multi-compartment, but I do think that's going to be a point of backtracking unless he decides to send in the Royal Champion to help it out.
Yeah, I think he's just waiting on that Royal Champion, so he can obviously take the enemy Queen out with the heroes. Then the Royal Champion standing right next to the Eagle means that one Headhunter will be able to take it out pretty quickly as he does start the Dragon Riders direct to the Eagle. Obviously, you want to get that down ASAP, and it's looking pretty good, but still holding... still making sure about that single target Inferno is the thing that I worry about, because the Royal Champion is in, and I can't really see what he can do other than hope he can just power towards that at the end of the attack.
Yeah, this Royal Champ is going to have to hang on quite a bit. Singles on the back end are really tough when you're bringing in these high hit point units, because they quickly roast them, just like you see them. They roast the heroes. But the Royal Champ doing great work. He's hanging on to this freeze, but has to use it for the scatter shot. With his big spread out of the Drag Riders, I expect to see maybe one full health coming in, and we still had in that last attack from MCES a single standing that did not pose a threat. The only difference here is that we do have a blockade of the storages, which won't affect the Drag Riders, but it would impact the Owl. This is coming down to the wire, but perfectly placed traps trying to hold this one off as the Drag Riders come through, and they can take it down. But let's see if they have enough time for the cleanup, as he has it spread around pretty perfectly.
Yeah, it's a little bit too close to call right now. You could certainly see him getting it. 20 seconds. The 2 Dragon Riders surviving is huge. If he only had one, obviously that's half of the damage. And just look at how fast that storage goes down. Now it looks a little bit clearer as the minions work away on the elixir storage. You have to say, I think the Headhunter was very late in deploying. Nearly caught him out because he lost the Royal Champion, but able to use the freeze spells perfectly to recover, continue, and get the 3-star, which is exactly what MCES needed. Keep the pressure on Atn.Attax.
Yeah, that was really down to the wire. I would have been sweating bullets on that one, trying to ensure, because imagine even seeing that 99% coming in provides an opening for ATN, but MCES is offering absolutely zero relief right now to ATN. They're going in strong. They're not making the same mistakes that they have in the past against them. And I think it's that beautiful defense that they can definitely credit themselves for in being able to hold back ATN so strong. 20% lead is huge. I mean, typically you're hoping to have the star lead. You're going to hold a team like this back so far on percent. It is a really big deal. But Yo-Yo, coming through and bringing us in with some Lalo action, which we have not gotten to see yet. Get a little queen charge Lalo starting off from the town hall compartment. We want to pick up this nice big structure that would cause a lot of damage for the loons. Let's be honest, we do often see it come in every once in a while from the back end, but I'm glad to see they're not taking risks in this attack today.
Yeah, absolutely not. I feel the battle blimp really is one of the key things that base builders try and bait nowadays. And whenever you can use attack strategies that are less risky and obviously do not get baited, then that's something you would want to do. Yo-Yo almost going back to his roots here. We know how good he is with the Lalo, but like you said, we don't often get to see him using it very often. The super minions and the headhunters in the clan castle can be tricky to deal with, but that is exactly what you need to do, what Yo-Yo did. Poison one, freeze the other, and you can rage your queen through that area as well. And like you said, Lady B, he's just thinning out all of the defenses around the town hall, and with the stone slammer selected, once the blimp goes down, it would be an easy target, but the king's going to be able to get that anyway, so he can use that to support his lava loon. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, so we saw the corner wall break coming in from the 3 o'clock compartment. That's likely to help force an additional wall break deeper into the base, but it doesn't get it. We wanted to see the queen going further in where the multi-targeting inferno was, where the queen compartment was, so she's just going to have to beat her way through the walls, but the king actually leading some passage, but stealing the healers. So that means the queen is now unprotected while the multi hangs on to her, coming back around. She still has the opportunity, but this Lalo pathing is huge. And notice that there's nothing to really draw it into the center of the base, so it stays out of that damage zone for the most part.
Oh, it certainly does. Now, thankfully, the queen actually did not break the wall to the right-hand side, so she's moving to the center, but the royal champion's actually going to finish that multi before the queen can do it. And Yo-Yo has spun this around, can you believe? Taking out that central multi, using his spells now to get through the scatter shot at the back end. And just look at how many loons he has left. You can talk about the attack going south, but Yo-Yo did not panic. And I cannot believe how many loons he has left. This is incredible. Beautiful Clash of Clans action that you are watching. Two of the best teams in the world, head for head. And remember, this is a best of one. So currently, MCES still in the lead, looking to move forward in that upper bracket.
They have not been letting their foot off the gas pedal from the start here. Even that 96% pretty much set the tone and said, if we're going to miss, we're not going to miss that bad on this. And that has done them huge favors in this war right now. Also, what I want to point out is we don't often get to see this, but Sinthe was the lead attacker within the war, which is huge. I mean, that's not something we always get to see coming in from MCES. And wondering if they were trying to switch up their strategy a little bit, bringing in the big guns to put the pressure on from the start, though we do know that sometimes it has to do with the plans that they're coming in with, you know, how certain they are. But that's not something that we often get to see.
Yeah, I feel like Sinthe does a lot of his creative attacks, and that's why we typically see him towards the back end of the war. Maybe he just seen that base and thought, I can skelly donut this area, use my hog riders, and you know, if the plan was already set, it just gives the rest of the team a little bit longer to nail down the exact funneling troops or, you know, the real specifics that could make the difference maker in a war like this. So we're back to MCES. It is Arium with the hybrid attack. Really interesting choice here. We do not get to see this very much in the current meta, and I would like to say there's mixed results with this strategy when we do see it as well, Lady B. So really interested to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I think typically when we get to see a hybrid, there's a lot more confidence, like kind of like when we see the Super P.E.K.K.A smash attacks, those ground attacks. They're looking for these specific bases that they know they have better accuracy to pick up that 3-star. These aren't the attacks anymore that you're just going to throw in willy-nilly. You have to find the right components moving forward, and with it, the best way to try and secure this is to take down the town hall with a queen charge. Though we do often get to see some players switching it up, bringing their hybrid through, because we can speed them along, but the safest way is bringing in this queen, especially because it's a big open chamber that can allow the queen even more passage through, and we can already see the pathing getting set up and lined up. to lead towards the scatter shop on the north side of the base.
Yeah, big thing for the hybrid is the spring traps, so be sure to look out for that. Now, we do sometimes see spring traps to the edge of the base now in order to try and fling off headhunters that are suspecting in a Dragon Rider attack, so maybe that's what Ariam's thinking here. He has used the Queen ability, but I think that was planned so far. Didn't want to commit too much to that Queen. As long as she stays alive through that poison, she can help to clear this bottom area. And the hybrid moving into the base with the headhunters take down the Queen, and they're moving pretty well here. He's still got the Warden ability, which he now uses, and a heal for the back end of the base.
I love this position where he forces the Warden ability because we're coming into the multi-targeting Inferno. Great area to do it also with the King and the just the hero surrounding. It helps those miners and hogs power their way through. Ideally, we would have liked to have seen the Queen doing some tanking for the scatter shot here, but the loon comes in, redirects it, and we get to see the hybrid pulling back together in a beautiful position where the miners, the hogs, and the Royal Champion are all in unison. That Royal Champ hanging on to the very edge with the ability intact, launching it off with 46 seconds left to go.
Oh.
Queen's not strong enough to take down that scatter shot, but I think he's got enough power in here to get the job done, especially with those healers distracting still.
Yeah, he needs this expo down quick. That was the only thing I was worried about, but down it goes. Royal Champion steps through. Like you said, the healers now doing a tremendous job tanking and absorbing fire from the scatter shot. Royal Champion still holding on, sneaks right on through, and the sneaky goblin trying to clutch it up, gets the archer tower to a slither of health for the miners to finish off. Hybrid still working in the current meta. MCES one attack away from beating Atn.Attax, knocking them down into the lower bracket.
They are in a solid position at this point. MCES has just been on fire today. And that's, you know, we said this before. Any of these teams have the opportunity to knock each other down, and pretty much each of these teams have had the opportunity within the play days to knock each other down throughout the rounds. But, you know, this is exactly the MCES team that I think everybody was hoping to see coming in. Just so close to perfect here, that 4% right now, kind of like a little bit of a shadow on it, but it's keeping them in this beautiful, solid position. And we're seeing some close calls, but they are navigating these plans perfectly, just working through any of the small hiccups, any of the small surprises that come along.
So I think we have Ast and Vale left for Atn.Attax, which means the MVP of the World Qualifiers this year and the MVP of last year's World Championships, and Tryhard, team captain for MCES. So some big names still to come, and it is Vale that is starting out with the lightning spell to take down that central multi-target Inferno. Vale often does use the lightning spells, and to good success, merging that now with the Yeti blimp to just carve a bigger area that he's already destroyed and setting up pathing for his heroes.
Yeah, so with this, we're going to see the heroes sectioning their way to the town hall right in the outskirts, but you can see how it really opens up the path, takes out the clan castle troops. One of the things we have to be mindful for in those entries, especially since we have a lot of ground bows surrounding town halls these days, is making sure that you don't have too much coming at your heroes at once. And we've got a lot of defenses surrounding this town hall here, so he needs to make sure that he picks them off in a nice dark corner. So beautiful approach in this opener. And because we do have so much to worry about, sends in that ice golem to do tanking for the queen, which means we can force this king down to the scatter shot compartment and extend the pathing even more for this Lalo.
Very, very nice. I always like to see when the heroes dive into separate compartments. And I think he's holding on to the Royal Champion, maybe trying to sneak a little bit extra value. Now deploys her to the right-hand side since he's got the tanking from the King. How far will that Royal Champion go? She could loop into the next compartment as well. This is huge from Vale. And now just sending a couple of balloons in for the defenses. He thinks the Queen will miss. Sending in that lava balloon early could would be important to actually protect the Royal Champion and the ability, so he could use the ability and potentially ping through the final defenses.
Yeah, this is huge to have this Royal Champion still carrying through within the raid right underneath those loons, just only targeted by those ground defenses here. And the Warden's been able to hold on to the ability as he makes the approach into that scatter shot compartment. Finally clips every single loon within that radius to get to the scatter shot. And the freeze holds it up long enough, but he needs a haste to force him in. Oh, Judo, it is enough to get in there, get those defenses taken down. And with this, Vala continuing to try and fight back and just find the opportunity for Atn to sneak in, get the defense. I mean, they've only got one more opportunity, but this is how they keep it going and keep the dream alive.
We've seen the #1 notification by the chat. Is that a GG from Atn.Attax cheering on Vale? The 3 stars, and that was so calm. Really well performed. Thinking back to the hit rates at the very start of the war, I believe from the most popular strats, the Zap Lava Loon had the lowest. It was actually close to 50%. Vale showing you exactly how it was done. Beautifully crafted. The balloons took one major hit from the scatter shot, and then he had to get everything perfect from that moment, get these spells in, and he did exactly that, freezing that entire Tesla farm, hasting them in like you said. Really good job, and it all comes down to the next attack though. MCES 3-star, they win, but if they do not, Atn.Attax can take it with their final attack.
Yeah, this is a potential opening for Atn, which puts a lot of pressure on the next hitter, which I believe we said is a tryhard. Yeah, so I think he's probably not always that happy to be in this position. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But it is a tough position to be in where the pressure starts building up. And coming in with the Zap Quake Lalo as well. Looking to, I think he's going for that multi and air sweeper in the core of the base with the 5-1 combo. But look at this, bringing in the Wall Wrecker to go straight for the Town Hall.
I always like to see when there's an Ice Hound in the composition as well. I've got my eyes down to that 6 o'clock area with the multi-target Inferno next to the air defense. That could be a good freezing location, but he's actually already sent in a couple of loons for the funnel. Now, the War Wrecker does get to the Town Hall, and I always hold my breath with these sneaky goblins, but it will indeed go down. This is huge. Pulling the Clan Castle troops across the side here. Baby Dragon will be able to take that out. I don't think he was, well, maybe he was suspecting the Tesla by the Town Hall. That could be a little bit issue in terms of pathing. He's actually going to start his heroes to the 10 o'clock area, and the mortar down the bottom was purely for his Lava Loon pathing when he begins.
And so the King is going to take the lead here for the multi-targeting Inferno. There's really nothing else for this Queen to break into, but she can snipe off a couple of these defenses along the way. Possibly this Unicorn's going to die out and burning through the ability. Just really want to clear out this compartment as much as possible. The King's offering this, the Queen really connecting it here as well. And the Royal Champion, who still has her ability, just forcing that off, needs to get the scatter shot down. So invisibility dropped to give her exactly what's needed to get it taken on. And I like the investment of a loon for that back end wizard tower, because you don't want to leave splash damage for the back end of the base.
Not huge from the spot of that in order to get that balloon in. Now look, by taking out that one mortar, how many deployment points he has for his loons. As he moves in, he can spread them across this side, get that good surgical approach. Beautiful Grand Warden ability, helps the headhunters through to get the Queen. And this now looks good as the balloons cruise on through. There is nothing left here. It is all about cleanup. 1 minute remains with a stack of balloons. He still has the pups, and there we have it, Lady B. We cannot jinx this now. Tryhard is pulling in the victory for MCES over the #1 seed of Atn.Attax, and they are getting knocked down into the lowest bracket already.
That is, what was that, 4% away from the perfect war for MCES, coming in absolutely hot today. They are really looking to just drive themselves back up into the heat of things. They were in number fourth position here out of the 4 teams that we see playing, and they just made this look like an absolute piece of cake. Now, this does mean that after we see the last attack coming in, we'll get to see ATN playing in the lower bracket. But man, after seeing this, if you're Tribe or Tomp and I, are you really going to want to face MCS? It's reared up and ready to go like this?
Well, they're going to have to make sure they win the next matchup, aren't they? So that they don't get knocked down. But, I mean, you're going to have to face them at some stage anyway, aren't they? But the thing is, if you can keep along the upper bracket, it's a best of 1. Now, that means you don't have to win as many matches, but you also don't have to use as many bases. So they can really hold on to their best bases until the very end. Now, the grand final is a best of 3. So whoever they come up against, they're going to need numerous bases for them. Let's see what Ast can do here, because a 14-star war for Atn.Attax is certainly nothing to sniff at either. And they will be moving down, feeling relatively confident in their next matchup.
So we have the Blizzard Drag Rider coming in, looking to pick out this entire compartment. We want to see the Eagle go down, gets that down. Can he actually pick off the heroes as well? Yes, he gets the defending RC down, doesn't get the Queen down, but she's on the shallow side of the base. And depending on how he drops his heroes, he can pick this off here as well, with the Royal Champion already fighting toe-to-toe. Lassie gets a shot off, and the Royal Champ can quickly pick her off. Gets pretty much exactly what he had hoped for out of this with the multi and the defending AQ.
Yeah, I think sometimes we think about the Blizzard and we automatically think about either Scattershot or Inferno Towers. Ast not getting anything there, but the value he gained was huge. Yes, the Eagle Artillery was in that area, but more so the pathing. He just took out a huge chunk of the base, and like we said, it just makes it easy now for his hero dive to move in. They are also doing a tremendous job. It's working perfectly here as the Queen will snipe the Scattershot, and he's still going in towards that Town Hall as well. Queen just needs to loop around into that area in order to finish off this part of the attack.
I'm a little bit worried about these expos, but she does manage to get one off first. So there's only one now firing away, though it's focused mostly on the Yak in the outskirts for now, giving the Queen the opportunity to work through. Drops the invisibility spell. He still has her ability, but she needs to get right in there. Even can drop a freeze for that ground bow if need be, if it gets a little sticky, but it doesn't seem like he will. And this means he can use it for the Drag Riders now, cutting that one close. But man, he even takes down the Expo here too. There's like a small cubby hole for these Drag Riders to have to get through to finish the job.
I thought he was going to use the freeze early. I mean, he doesn't need it, but I thought he would have froze the air defense and the Scattershot. He only lost that one Dragon Rider either way. Look at them cruise on through. That is the power of the Blizzard Dragon Riders right now. Starting to use it, and we will be seeing bases defending that Blizzard, or at least trying to. Whenever you can get value like Ast did here, it just sets up your hero dive so well to connect on to one of the sides from where you took out. A beautiful demonstration of that strategy. A 3-star finishing off for Atn.Attax, but can you believe a 14-star war? It is not enough. MCES winning this one with 99.2% total destruction. Incredible matchup. Brilliant display from these teams, Lady B.
Yeah, 14-14. All